Tool, you might picture early humans happily lounging in caves, inventing wheels and sketching mammoths like prehistoric Banksies, but real Stone Age life was somewhat less Instagram-worthy. In fact, if you somehow woke up tomorrow in prehistoric times, your biggest worry wouldn't be your phone signal. It would be becoming someone else's dinner before lunchtime. Our ancestors were essentially permanent campers, minus the overpriced tents and smug Instagram hashtags. Imagine living your entire life like you're at a music festival, without the music, the overpriced burgers, or even the chance of bumping into celebrities. Instead, your neighbors were mostly large, hairy creatures intent on eating you, and the toilet facilities were decidedly less luxurious. Still, at least there was no risk of running into someone singing Wonderwall badly at 3 a.m. Now we imagine our Stone Age relatives residing comfortably in caves, rather like a Flintstones episode. But most early humans actually preferred temporary huts or shelters. Think less stone-built mansion and more dodgy Airbnb built by squirrels. Those caves that archaeologists keep finding with lovely paintings weren't homes. They were probably more like community centers or art galleries, except with fewer smoking breaks and more occasional bear attacks. Survival for our distant ancestors was a relentless series of high-stakes pub quizzes. Daily life was an ongoing round of, is that berry delicious or deadly? Can I outrun that bear? And everyone's favorite, exactly how cross is that mammoth? Unfortunately, if you got one of these questions wrong, you didn't just lose points, you lost your life. Despite living without Netflix or any decent entertainment, besides perhaps watching your neighbor attempting to outrun wolves, our ancestors enjoyed surprisingly varied diets. Unlike today's endless arguments about the perfect avocado ripeness, they simply ate what was available, be it berries, mushrooms, snails, fish, or the occasional rabbit, if they could catch it. Cooking was basic. Think less MasterChef and more what won't poison me if roasted on a stick. Amazingly, the average hunter-gatherer had more free time than your average modern office worker. Probably because they weren't spending 4 hours a day commuting or dealing with emails from people who still haven't figured out reply all etiquette. Instead, their workday involved a leisurely stroll picking berries and dodging lions, usually wrapped up by lunchtime. Though to be fair, their afternoons were mostly occupied with not dying. Interestingly, gatherers weren't hoarders. Modern people are drowning in possessions, owning 15 different types of kitchen gadgetry and enough shoes to supply a medium-sized army. But our ancestors kept things minimal, not from some philosophical commitment to minimalism, but because carrying your belongings while running from predators severely limits your desire to lug around that spare mammoth hide sofa just in case. Social life in hunter-gatherer groups was refreshingly straightforward. Without social media, conflicts were probably resolved quickly, either by agreeing, ignoring, or simply walking away to join a different group if someone annoyed you. Imagine how liberating it would be to end arguments by just physically leaving them behind. Don't like your boss? Just walk 50 meters to join another group. Simple. Family structures back then were likely as varied as today. Think less traditional nuclear family and more assortment box of biscuits. Some tribes probably lived in extended family setups, others in communal free-for-alls, while others were perhaps like chimpanzees, where fatherhood was largely an abstract concept. Picture a world without family reunions, in-laws, or passive-aggressive Christmas dinners. Sounds appealing, doesn't it? Spiritually, our ancestors probably believed the world was packed with spirits and ghosts. They might have chatted to trees, apologized to rivers, and blamed their stomach aches on angry berries or upset rocks. It's hard to judge. After all, modern humans still think blowing on dice improves their chances at Monopoly. So who's really evolved here? Ironically, we know almost nothing of these early people's dramas, tragedies, or comedies, because without writing or TV, all their tales vanished quicker than your New Year's resolutions. It's frustrating because Stone Age life probably had plenty of plot twists and cliffhangers. Did they gossip about who was dating whom in the next valley? Did they laugh when someone slipped on mammoth dung? Probably, but tragically, Netflix wasn't around to document it. So, although we romanticize the Stone Age as simpler times, remember that our ancestors' greatest invention wasn't fire, stone tools, or cave art. It was simply surviving. And frankly, given their track record, we're lucky to be here complaining about Wi-Fi and avocado toast. If they'd been just a bit worse at not dying, we wouldn't be around to moan at all. and that truly would be a tragedy.